history. Trump said that slavery stuff, it's a little too sad. Let's get rid of it.
But hold on.
Yeah, he's over it. He's done with it. It is what it is.
It was a setup. I'm sorry.
No.
Hold on.
All right, go ahead.
The private sector was already doing this. Meaning, the private sector wasn't going to let things like racism stop them from recruiting the right talent. There was a time where they did. But the private sector was already recruiting the most talented person, whatever. Now, we may not have not been in every room. I understand. Not as equal.
But
however,
these private companies took a lot of advantage of the system.
By the time Joe Biden showed up and say DEI all in the federal government, it wasn't necessary. This was already being done across the board. He allowed DEI.
White women had already gotten their jobs.
Correct.
No,
that's who DEI is for.
But he allowed DEI to be weaponized. Right? He did. He allowed it to be weaponized. The fact that he made it a policy through the federal government.
No, wait. It was way before him. Let me tell you.
But yes, it was
diversity
already taking place before then. But he came in, he made it a policy at the federal level. Allow people who were, if you were anti-Biden, all of a sudden you were anti the policy. But also, I'm sorry, but also it did keep people in their job that shouldn't be in their job.
No. Here's the thing. It wasn't created because people were, because they were just giving out to just any color people.
No, they weren't.
The problem was they were excluding everybody, like discriminating. It was discrimination was the issue.
Where?
Black people, like everybody, anybody, right? All right, let's take our mother for a second, right? She was at AT&T, and it was all white people. She was the only black person, and her boss went away one day and told her you could hire 3 people, 4 people, 5 people, whatever it is. And then he came back and she hired all black people, and he was like, "What the hell's going on here? That's not what you were supposed to do," because they were keeping people out. You know what I'm saying? And that's why the diversity, exclusion, whatever it came into play. Because they were discriminating against, they were discriminating. It wasn't for white women. They came in, they added, Martin Luther King and them added them to, his whole, what's it called?
What's the exact word for it?
Diversity, something and inclusion.
We know what it stands for, but
black person.
What's the word I'm looking for, man?
Discrimination is the reason that it was created.
Against white women because they want white women to be barefoot and pregnant.
Affirmative action.
First of all,
affirmative action.
And civil rights.
Barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. That's why
they just changed the name of affirmative action to DEI.
That is why they don't want women.
But affirmative action was needed to bring in people of color into.
Affirmative action has been outlawed, right?
Yeah,
it's illegal now.
Yeah, because of him. He changed that law.
Right.
Exactly.
No. It was a lawsuit. What you said?
Yeah, there was a difference between.
Yeah, it was a lawsuit. It was a lawsuit brought in by Asians.
What the hell?
By Asians that said they weren't getting into Ivy Leagues because of the quotas of you have to have certain percentage of this many people.
Yeah,
and guess what? That was a play because it was most likely.
I didn't get into Rutgers because of the quota, right? Correct. And I'm not that stupid, but I didn't get into the Rutgers because I had to compete against every other fucking Asian asshole. You understand? Like I had to compete at a whole different level than everyone else that I was fucking really going to school with, right? Because now I had all these Chinese kids, all these fucking Indian kids. Me, I like to kind of like have fun. I mean, I wasn't all into the books.
But on the same time,
I'm like,
they were chasing girls.
It wasn't stupid, but hey.
I would have been able to get in.
I mean, I had a pretty good, I had a 3.2, 3.3 average. I mean, I should have been able to get into Rutgers.
But the quarter of African American the quarter of African American was necessary. Because there was a moment where African American cannot get into certain schools.
Completely
now,
agree
whether we should add everybody else into that, and that's the problem. Because whenever the government gives something to African American, they seem to be a need to give it to everybody else. You give Japanese payback after World War II for throwing them in fucking camps. You pay the Chinese people, during the time where, there was a law against Chinese people being citizen. Yeah. Like, you pay every other race that's been discriminated by this country, except for black people, 400 years of slavery. Now, everything you decide to give to African American, you feel like there's a need to give. Now, fuck that.
Right.
But if you're the minority, you need a couple extra people to get the vote.
Nah, dude, let African American get to what everybody else get.
They're not going to give it to you on your own, so you have to include white women and Asians and everybody.
Hold on,
I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but you realize in the 1800s, Fact.
No.
You realize in the 1800s.
Because you're the minority. You're not going to get it because you're the minority.
Right?
Hold on, you realize in the 1800s, right?
That's why they died. I personally think that they brought in all these people, other races, because they were like, all right, this affirmative action is black people. Like, we're going to have to start giving black people jobs. Like, so let's just bring in Indians from India to do H-1B visas and all that stuff.
We're able to say we met our quota.
That's right.
I can agree with that.
We hired one black person.
I can agree with that.
You know why
I can
they
agree
say
with
people
that.
of color?
Yeah,
people of color.
You know why they say
People of color. Yes.
Because now
that's why they say
it's
people of color. Because it's not about black people.
It's not
You
about
can
us.
say,
Right.
yeah, we meet our quotas of people of color.
No, listen. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I mean, they brought everybody else here for that reason. But hey, but then you had.
It's crazy.
How?
And bro, when I went south, that's how it started.
But you gotta also.
I started being the only black dude in the room. Now in the beginning, it's like.
But what do you think about his H-1B?
Like you have to know your
I can
place.
bring you something real racist.
What do you think of his H-1B policy?
H-1B, he has to maintain
for it to be racist.
No.
But she doesn't know any better.
I personally think what he doing, where he made it, that they got to pay them $500,000 to bring it in.
And she don't have to be white to not know no better and say the wrong thing. Exactly. See, I knew it. Yeah, I knew
Paying them 50 cents on the dollar and just taking.
Wait, we can't have two conversations at the same time.
H-1Bs as a because that's what they were doing. They were literally going to India. This job pays $150. Now they can pay this kid $75,000 and be like, yo, he's $75,000
And he
in
come here,
America.
rents a room.
Like, yo, like, you know,
never
you gonna
really
be
invest much in the country. 6 months later, he goes back home.
He might have some family here. He might.
But a lot of them was coming here just renting room and
Now
go
you gotta
back.
pay what, 500,000?
Yeah, if you want to come here, if you want to bring one
just to
person.
get the H-1B visa.
I'm not against
Right, because they were literally bringing in
500,000 is
That is insane.
an unobtainable number.
company got somebody in.
So they don't come.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right,
what it
right,
is,
right.
because he's getting rid of the low-lying fruit, right? You can't bring somebody in here for needless talent just because you can rob them for $75K. Great, you can rob them for $75K. Great, pay me a check for $500,000.
But the problem was
you can rob them.
the problem was the people they was bringing in to fill those
now
jobs.
it becomes
they was already
unfeasible for you to
qualified
do it.
American for those jobs.
Exactly.
They just didn't want to hire them because you can bring in
Pay them
someone
more
cheaper.
for 50 cents on the
But
dollar.
these was jobs that
Exactly.
people already qualified here to do.
Do you know how many people we done laid off? We done outsourced to India. WePro.
That's what they do.
Everything is at WePro now. All of our client services, WePro.
That's what they do.
I mean, I know people that wasn't Indian that work at
and
WePro.
Accenture. No, we are based in WePro, like based in India. And,
Okay.
And it's all WePro and Accenture.
WePro is in New Brunswick too. You know that they got a building right there.
We don't,
But I don't know.
we don't- it's all in India.
India now.
They don't
It's
like
crazy.
they laid
Again,
off
East
so
Brunswick, my bad,
many
East Brunswick.
Because
That's
they're like
recently or a while back?
last year, because they're like, what do we need to pay one person? We could pay 3 of
Well,
them
they
with
brought
this
in-
Out of India, that's right.
salary.
They brought in more Indians?
Yeah, they brought in more.
Yeah, we got
Because
6 in my company.
Leanne worked at WePro in Santana, so I'm like, they work there, and it's in East Brunswick in the Hilton Towers. It's right,
But
it's
again,
there.
All of it, got rid of all
But,
of
you know,
our
The
client
government
services.
allows all of this. You gotta
They do.
realize, like, yo, this is
But
all a
is it
fucking
really the
corrupt
government or
system.
is it
Like,
the lobbying? I mean, yeah, the government
Yes.
being lobbied to sign
Yes.
up for that shit. That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, your
It's
boy
all the
Trump
same,
now,
right?
he said he bringing the
Bobby,
jobs back
but
here.
now,
Where
hold
they
on.
at?
But now hold on. Do you know?
For us to work on the fields.
Do you know?
Oh
another
yeah,
thing- do you know another
factories,
thing they're not telling
factories.
immigrants?
Yeah.
Do you know right now
That's
what
where
they?
the money's at
Do you know
right
the
now.
immigrants aren't the illegal immigrants aren't going home empty?
I'm looking for
empty-handed,
more.
right?
I'm about to get this
They're
corn.
paying them to go
I
back.
am not doing
The
my
ones
fair.
that self-deported, right?
2,600.
Yeah, but they chasing down the rest of. They don't want to go back though. There's not. They don't. What is $2,700? How far is $2,700 gonna get you?
If they deported you
Land and a
already,
farm.
$2,600 go big when you get back home.
Yeah, but if you stay here, you'll make more than that in a month.
It depends on what you
yeah,
do.
but how much is your cost of living here? You know what I'm saying? Can you live off of $2,600?
Well,
Like,
is it
they're
how many of you? How many of you? How many of you are living together?
How much is a one-bedroom apartment in New Jersey?
But they don't live like that, right? They don't live like that. They have a multi-unit and they got bad people in there.
$2,600. So, how far are you gonna give it $2,600?
Nah, they got a multi-unit. They got multiple people living in there.
But now, hold on.
They not just.
How many are living in there? Okay.
They not just.
How long
many
y'all
people-
gonna
Bro,
last?
the
5
basement
months?
is the basement has no exit and they got a bunch of people down
But you know
there.
how many people abusing the
6
system?
months?
It's illegal, but
But
they're
you know how
there.
many people abusing the system?
I don't want to be racist, but it just happens.
You can
This
still come
happens.
through the border.
Listen, we calling the obvious, right?
I call what I see. Yeah, I seen it. I seen
Call a
it.
spade a spade.
Yeah.
But
I didn't see it. My bad. It's illegal. I didn't see
Well,
it.
you can still come back to the border. You take the 2600.
They always come back. Everybody comes back. All the Dominicans that used to sell haze in Harlem, they come right back. They get deported. They got a van out there with weed. And they get deported. They come right back.
Bro, it got
and
so
they cousin
bad.
name.
Under the 4 years of Joe Biden, the African was coming through the southern border. Almost everybody was coming through the southern border. Dude, all you had to do is get a visa to South America, Ecuador,
Bro, they
or all
shipped
those
back
places.
like 100,000 Indians
Hey, yo.
that came in through there.
I was looking at the videos. You see the Chinese people.
What is going Chinese people was coming through the southern
You be
border?
like, yo, this nigga don't look Mexican, South American.
First of all, I don't know why everybody's obsessed with the southern border when the northern border is messed up too. Canada, the Triads run it, the Hell's Angels run it. It's a bunch of drugs and people coming through the borders. I met an Arab dude and he was like, I came through the Canadian border, bro, illegally.
But Canada's steady, and you have to get a visa to get through Canada.
But people that aren't white are coming through that border.
But you gotta get a visa.
And drugs.
But you gotta get a visa
But
to get
it's
to
the same
Canada.
thing with Europe, right? Like we have open borders with white countries.
That's correct.
You don't realize that?
Yes.
Without visa, yeah.
And I can't remember what country it was, but they were deporting some people of color.
You can fly with an American passport to anywhere in Europe and don't need a visa.
Maybe it was Haitians or something. But somebody was saying, it was Mayor Eric Adams. He was saying the Russians and Ukrainians and the Chinese and all that, when they get here, they're allowed to work. And I forget who they were deporting at the time out of New York, but he was like, they're not allowed to work. Probably Haitians or Africans or something like that. He was like, they're not allowed to work. So that's why they're targeting them. But everybody else is allowed to work. He said, my goal is to get them to be allowed to work. This way they come over here and then they're fine. Right? Because they're trying to say they do crime. They commit crimes and this and that. Because they can't work. But if they can work, they'll be fine.
But
you know what I'm saying?
People from Russia and Ukraine?
Russia and Ukraine and China and India, they're allowed to work when they get here. But I think like Haitians and Africans, something like that, he was like, they're not allowed to work.
Yeah,
and then he said they're allegedly committing crimes.
We need a certain amount of immigrants in this country.
We do.
Period. Because
There's certain
those
jobs
are the ones
certain people
that
gotta
are the jobs that the immigrants are doing. The people that come here last, right? They're willing to do the lowest jobs that no American wants to do. Especially if you've been here 30, 40 years and you're no longer an immigrant, bro. You're kind of
you cooked
know
up.
how
You got kids and grandkids like after a certain amount of time. Yeah.
you're acclimated to
They don't
society,
have problem with
right?
immigrants,
You're
bro. They was
acclimated
bringing
in.
South Africans.
You
I'm
done
just
figured
sorry.
out like
Yes, they just brought in
People
a
are
bunch of South
migrating. People are
Africans.
still
But you
migrating
done figured out-
from
But
white
that's
countries.
people that they approve and are
Yeah,
allowed to work. That's what I'm saying.
Ukrainians are coming.
The people that they
White
think come
South
from
Africans are
shithole
coming.
countries
Irish
are the
still
problem
coming in
for
the
them.
country. People from Poland still coming in. They
They pick and choose. That's it.
it's the same policy that's behind
look at all the
anti-abortion.
he
Oppression.
named.
It's
It's
the same
oppression.
policy.
It
They
happen to be
don't-
all Muslim
Yeah.
countries.
Don't send that money back over there.
No,
Right.
and they
Send it
don't.
to-
And
send
they
it to
don't.
where I
They
pick.
want abortion laws because they don't want white girls to
Look
be
at all
able
the
to get
countries.
abortion. I
Like
get it.
again, right? Like
Well, they need the numbers. They don't have the numbers. Right? They
But
say
the
that
numbers-
the
but this
population
the
is
thing, the numbers
dwindling.
inevitable. This continent belongs to